5.3.
Yeah. We're having problem with our computer today, but thank God.
The Jews.
Sorry?
I see, is it the Jews that are fighting the computer?
No, you can come up again now. You are down. You can get your computer down back. You know, sit up, yeah.
Like this?
Yeah. A bit higher.
Okay.
No, the opposite. The opposite.
Okay.
Yeah, good now. Yep. Yeah. If the Jews are fighting, congratulations to them. They are having some victories. You don't win everything. You win some, you lose some. So, kudos to them.
I'm worried about you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, you know, nothing to worry about because actually I'm the one doing God's work. They are going to inflict some wounds on me and some injuries. Maybe not physical, maybe spiritual, or sometimes physical. But it's an act of war. When you are in a war, you cannot expect for everything to just go your side. It's like somebody going to a war and thinking that in the process, they will never suffer any casualty, that all the casualties will come only from the other side. That is living in delusion, if anybody would think like that. So if I know that we are in a war, and I know that we're in a war, and I am attacking from my side, and you know, I should be aware that the other side also will be attacking. And I'm not talking about Satan now or demons. When I talk about the other side, I'm talking about people. Because I am not doing the kind of war like Nigerians are doing or spiritual warfare, just talking about some spirits, some demons somewhere up there. But I am naming human beings. And I'm naming not just human beings, but I'm naming human beings that have millions of followers. And in my own case, I'm not just naming them, I am challenging their teachings and their doctrines and their belief systems. And this is a principle that I actually normally tell people not to adopt. I normally tell people don't attack anybody publicly. But you know, even though as in my own belief system, I don't think I'm attacking anybody at all. I don't think I'm doing anything personally against anyone. But because of the level of education of our people, I think it is unfortunate that they will translate my actions to be an attack and to be an attack at their most treasured values. Those are their spiritual fathers. So definitely I will have backlash. Definitely I will have people hating me. Normally when you attack people, and even though I'm not attacking, but because of our understanding, you don't challenge an elder. The culture says like that. Because the culture doesn't allow you to challenge an elder or spiritual leaders. You know, what I'm doing is going to be interpreted as an open attack against their spiritual fathers and their pastors. So, and in my own case, I'm doing it against almost everybody at the same time, not just against one or two person, you know, but almost everybody at the same time. So it's like I'm fighting 5 or 6 or 10 battles at once. But I'm comfortable with it. And but I like your statement that you said you are worried for me and you are concerned for me, which is very commendable for you. But, you know, I'm not living an illusion that everything will be good when I'm, you know, when I am involved in such a battle, in such a war. Definitely, I expect that I should not be the only one to give a strike, but I should also be willing to take a strike. I should not be the only one to throw a punch, but I should also be willing to receive punches. So I guess that you know, I am comfortable and I'm relaxed and I am at peace. And how do you say it? I am I'm not disturbed by the attacks and the punches that are being thrown at me, because I am doing damage to them too. So it is only normal to think that they would do damage to you too. Any war that you go to, you will have casualties, not just on one side, on two sides. And if you go to a boxing ring, for example, even if you are the champion, you will still get some, some punches thrown at you. So even if you are fighting with an amateur. So I think the problem that a lot of Christians have is that they don't anticipate attacks, and they think that attacks are bad. But I'm not thinking attack is bad. I'm anticipating attacks. I know that attacks are supposed to come, and let them come, because I know that I call for the attacks, and I know that I provoke the attacks. So if the attacks are coming, I shouldn't complain. I shouldn't complain about the attacks because I call for them. So that's the kind of thing I'm thinking about. That is too late, but it's too late. So I am yeah, so that's my own mood about it. That's my own thinking about all these things. That I had a training and a teaching on the topic of trials, problems, crises, tribulations, and the normal thing, the conventional thing you hear from Christians is that if you are good with God, or if God is pleased with you, you shouldn't have trials. So everybody is trying to avoid crisis and trials. But I am not from that school of thought. I'm not trying to avoid trials or crises. I am calling on crisis to come. If they don't come, I'm going to look for crisis. And if I don't have them, I'm going to challenge them. So that is what life is supposed to be about. Anybody that is living without problems is supposed to be questioning himself if he's okay. It is the only person who is okay, in my own point of view in life, is somebody who is head deep in troubles and problems. That is the real life. And that is what religion tries to take us from. And when religion takes us from that mood and that thought and that mindset that we are supposed to be neck deep in crisis, what that leads you is it leads to a life of mediocrity. So a lot of religious people, therefore, are living a life of failure and mediocrity because they don't like to take a punch, and they don't like to invite a fight. They don't like to even be involved in a battle. But the only way to win in life is when you are involved in battles. The only way for you to be triumphant in life is when you engage in battles. So, and the only way for you to be exceptional is for you to look for troubles. So the Christians who, because of their Christian faith, think that it is a good life when you avoid troubles, they don't know that it is the trouble that makes the man. And the level and the amount of greatness of a man is not measured by his achievement, but by the level of attacks and the amount of attacks he has been able to surmount in his lifetime. So greatness, therefore, is the subtotal of attacks that a man has passed through and has been able to surmount and to overcome. So it is the trials and the attacks and the crises that you overcome that determine your greatness, not the amount of money in your bank account. So to now say you don't want those attacks and trials and crises, to avoid those crises is to reduce yourself to somebody that will never have a taste of greatness, or that true greatness will never be their own portion. Because to see any human being that is great is to see the tale of his trials and his crises and his tribulations. It is those trials and tribulations that have actually made him who he is, not lack of them.
As they say the ends justify the means. When you're going through the tribulation, nobody will see what you went through, but all they see at the end of the day is the final result.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that it is abnormal life to live without tribulations. It is an abnormal life to live without a fight. It is a life of failure to submit or to agree to a life of serenity without any kind of storms and turbulences. It is the turbulences and the storms that really make life worth it. So, and that greatness in itself, which many people desire, don't come just on a plate of on a silver plate. Greatness comes at a battlefield, and no true general becomes a general without taking a fight, without going to battle. It is the battle that makes the man.
There are a lot of people who are living a very comfortable life today. They don't feel as if they have anything to die for. What should it be a point of concern to any person who feels comfortable in a present situation?
To live a comfortable life and not to have any challenge at all is to live a dead life, is to be dead. You are actually dead, and you are living a boring life, and you are going to be succumbed one way or the other. There is no human being that can live a life of comfort for too long, because once you begin to live a life of comfort for a considerable amount of time, then other trials and other challenges will begin to overwhelm you. Namely, for example, if you live a life of comfort all the time, you would begin to think vanity. Vanity will take over your mind, because it is the lazy hands that Satan finds jobs for. So this time it is not the enemies of people that will be coming against you, but it will be the enemies and the attacks that Satan will be finding you. You will be engaged for Satan, because to live in comfort is to succumb to flesh, and to succumb to flesh is to become a servant and a slave of that flesh. And what are the works of the flesh? Well, we know that the works of the flesh are revealed, are known, are made manifest. And the works of the flesh are the lust of the eyes, and the lust of the flesh, and the pride of life. So when you live, it is those three things I just mentioned, they reign in terms and in conditions of comfort. So when you live in comfort, you don't have challenges or problems. Your thoughts will begin to, be metamorphosized into thoughts of the evil and the, and the vanity around you. To live in comfort is to descend to vanity. Your eyes will begin to see things that you didn't look for before. Your flesh will begin to desire things that you wouldn't have desired under normal circumstances. And then the pride of life will begin to lead you astray and destroy your life. So to live in comfort is more deadly than to live in the battlefield. I have chosen to be in the battlefield than in the place of comfort.
That's a great philosophy. I can imagine the whole world thinking like you, how the world would be. Like all of us just think, let's choose a life of comfort. We'll all be heroes at the same time.
Sorry?
I said we'll all be heroes at the same time.
Yes, that's the only way to be heroes. That's the only way that makes heroes. Because I'm sorry that I wrote a book on that topic, a book on the danger of comfort, but unfortunately it's in Russian, it's not in English yet. But I already have enough in English. People are now complaining they don't have enough time to read my books. But I will try to get that book into English too. Anyway, what I'm saying is that people will think that what I am doing is risky. I want to tell them that their own life, the lifestyle that they are living, is more risky. Because what I am doing is risky, but it will surely guarantee me a place in history. But the way they are living is too risky. For me, that is where the risk belongs. Because if I live the way they are living, I stand the risk of never being remembered in history. That to me is a greater danger and a greater risk. I don't want to live a life where I will be forgotten in history. Why did I therefore come if I'm only to be forgotten? But the risk that I am taking is justifiable to me, because I'm fighting a fight for the destiny of millions of people. And the only people that are remembered in history are people who don't live for themselves, are people who place their comfort on the line, are people who risk their own comfort and their own security to go and risk their lives and comfort for the good of others. Only those who risk their lives for the good of others are remembered in time and eternity. So I am living such a way, an uncomfortable lifestyle that will secure me a comfortable sleep in my eternity. So for those people who think that it is risky to call out people and challenge the menace of my age. I think it's more risky to be like they are, because the way they are living is not to go to the battlefield. They don't fight. So they don't have the wounds of fight. They don't have the injuries from battles. They don't have the betrayals of colleagues. They don't have the strike of the arrow. But what that seems to be the good side for them. But the bad side for them is that since they don't have all that, they also don't stand the risk of enjoying the beauty of victory. But for me, who is willing to suffer all of the above, I stand the chance of getting the crown of victory.
I think that's great. Why are we here, DSA?
Huh?
Why are we here? Why are we still having a debate about the existence of God?
I don't have that debate.
Why do humans still debate the existence of God?
Okay. Humans are servants or fruits of the knowledge that they choose to embrace. So humans are they are a result of the information that is put into them or that they have chosen to embrace. So anybody can embrace any form of information. Anybody can choose to embrace the information that there is no God. And that is the beauty of the willpower that God himself gave to all men. And another person could choose to embrace the information that God is there. And then, this is the information they embrace that determines to what camp they belong. But I thought we didn't finish your conversation because you made a statement that you are concerned for me and for my well-being, and I answered that. But I wanted to ask you a counter question in the sense that, are you concerned that because I'm dealing with these pastors or the GOs, you think they are, they might be having some bad thoughts?
Yes. My worry is not about you particularly, but it's about the thoughts they're conceiving in their mind. Because in this particular situation, we're dealing with psychopaths. We're dealing with humans that are extraordinary in their conception. So I thought about what they're thinking right now in their houses.
In my
what
house.
They're planning against you.
Okay.
Both physically.
In their houses.
And spiritually. So when I say what I'm concerned about you, I think I've come to a conclusion that you're dogged, you are rugged, you don't worry anymore. You're not afraid of what they will do, but what will they do?
Well,
they will go to any extent to silence you. That's what I discovered.
You are so much in the spirit. That's the way we Christians say it. Because you don't even know what conversation that I had today. There is a person here who is a witness to that conversation. And I would like to invite him to just let you know how correct you are and how undocked you are. Can you come and you have your notes, or you don't need the note? If you need the note, take it. Okay. We had a conversation with somebody, we will not mention the name or anything. We just had a conversation with somebody who is aware of exactly what they are doing and they are planning. So I would like the brother, he was taking the notes for me. I was engaging in the conversation and he was taking the notes. But I would like him to tell you all the reality of the information that I got today and what the guy recommended that I should do. And that two things, the information, the guy's recommendation, and maybe during that recommendations segment, you could also mention what Nigerians normally, what is the normal human reaction to that. And then
Not necessarily.
What's the name?
How you doing, my brother?
What's the name?
Speak loud.
My name is Oluwatope.
Oluwatope. This is the first time I'm seeing the face. He resembles success.
Talk by. Just say talk by.
Tope.
He resembles success. Are they related?
No. They are not.
Ah,
They are not.
okay.
Of course, I'm successful. I'm success in the making. Amen.
All right, go.
Okay. How are you today? How you doing?
Great, thanks.
Okay. So a couple of hours ago, Pastor got a call from somebody. And as a matter of fact, he's been trying to reach him for a couple of months ago because he said he has a message from the Lord. And what is this message? It's about how some so-called ministers of the gospel are planning to attack Pastor Sunday Adelaja. Of course, because of his role in correcting some doctrinal errors in the body of Christ lately back at home in Nigeria. So this minister of the gospel called, and he said God revealed to him that Pastor Sunday should be very prayerful because some so-called men of God have decided to go to his hometown where he was conceived and where he was giving birth to really know how everything went, how he was conceived, how, his birth came about and everything, so they could harm him, so they could do a lot of spiritual, how do I articulate this now? So they could just do some spiritual, they could attack him spiritually, and that he should be very prayerful. As a matter of fact, that he should raise a team of prayer warriors that will intercede and perpetually pray to avert this evil that they're trying to perpetrate from Nigeria and everywhere across the globe. So he said it's like an occultic society. It's like an amalgamation of forces of darkness that is designed to destroy him through character defamation and through every unimaginable form of assault. So that he should be very prayerful and that they will do this with everything they can afford, that they will go to any extent.
That they have already gone to my village.
And they've gone to his village. I mentioned that earlier, that they've gone to his village to do research. Not scientific research this time, but do you understand? Physical research and spiritual research.
The hands that carried me when I was young.
Yes. To know how he was conceived, how he came to life, and all of these things will really help them to know how to
be able to do the sham.
How to really attack him in a way that has never been conceived ever before in life.
And that they have taken my name to...
Yes. That they, even the so-called ministers of God, men of God, that some of them are perpetually on the mountain, prayer mountain, praying for his downfall, praying for his failure, his shame, that will be put to shame, he will be disgraced, he will be let down, and that many things will go wrong.
And some of them have even taken my name to some witch doctors, yeah?
Exactly, yeah. So that they are trying to do all of that.
They are doing all of that, yeah.
All in the name of God.
I want to understand this.
Because they think I'm evil, huh?
Is this an information, or is it a vision he saw, or is this an information he's given?
He's talking it as if it's both, yeah.
Yes, because from the conversation...
Both revelation and both fact.
Yes, because he even broke down in tears. He couldn't hold back.
He was crying.
He was crying because when he thought or envisioned the gravity of what
the diabolical plan.
You understand? Yes, he broke down in tears and he was like, "This is serious. That there is urgent need for prayers and for other measures to be taken so that we will not have to cry."
That
over.
they are planning to plant people around me, yeah.
Yes. That Yes, that they will even use people closest to him if they could influence them in whatever way. That they are just ready by all means to pull him down for whatsoever work he's doing right now in the name of God, that they feel is not pleasant, or that appears to be an attack on their personality, or their ministry.
Calling out their names.
Do you understand? So they are really ready to do unimaginable things. Yes.
What was the solution he provided? He advised the DSA to do what?
He obviously was not able to provide a solution
Apart from prayers.
Of course, he's a spiritual man, and that was the solution he provided.
No, he said go and get some prayer warriors or whatever.
Yes, like if you can raise a prayer team and get people to pray a lot more than ever. And
only prayer.
I know, and he said to be careful.
To be careful. Of course, it was being sincere. It was helpful in the sense that he related what God revealed to him to us, to Pastor Sunday, and he said to pray. So that's something.
You what do you think about such?
Yeah, what normally is the normal? Yeah, what's your own reaction?
Okay, I'm a Nigerian, and as a Nigerian, like I said when Pastor interviewed me some time ago, like I've been in CAC, and I understand when you get this kind of prophecy, what you have to do is to start serious fasting and prayers, because this is not a joke. And for those who take prophecies seriously, you will want to lock up your room and begin to pray and begin to ask God for divine protection and clarity on what to do. Do you understand? Yeah. But I was amazed because after that, I don't know if I should have heard this.
Go ahead.
Yeah, after the message, after Pastor got the message, he just gave glory to God and he was ready to have lunch. You know, as if nothing happened.
What did you tell me? You said
I said, if I were to be in your shoes, like I would not even think of eating right now. And what I would have done is really pray a lot more than ever.
and go and declare fast.
And declare fasting and prayers, and probably call my team so that we can really engage in prayers. But he did
And
just
what did
that.
I say? What did I say?
He said, he even told the man outrightly that he's just trying to be respectful so that it doesn't look as if he's snobbish and he's not trying to consider him. But he said to him outrightly that, not like he doesn't believe in prophecies, but all of these things, you know,
I don't believe
he
in them.
really doesn't believe in them.
Who said that?
He said it to the man.
Who said that? He said he.
Pastor Sunday Adelaja, yes.
Okay, he said that he was just trying to be respectful and to listen to him.
Yes. In fact, it was after much persuasion that he decided to listen, so that it doesn't look like he just.
And after dropping the phone, what did I tell you that I was going to do?
You were going to eat, and you went to have lunch.
To eat.
Yeah.
And I told you to do and do
To
what?
go and do same. Exactly same. To God be the glory.
So how long have you been following DSA now? You?
But I understand that Pastor Sunday is a spiritual man, because I come here a lot more often and I've seen his lifestyle, and I understand that you can't do this, like, you know, when you are when we were a lot younger and you're watching wrestling and they tell you don't practice this at home. Do you understand? So his lifestyle, exactly his disposition towards that prophecy. I mean, you don't want to behave like this if you are not a spiritual man. You don't want to try this if you don't have a personal relationship with God. You don't want to try this if you are not built up in faith, if you don't have a very direct access to God. Do you understand? So I understand where it's coming from. And I would not...
Especially if the man is crying and weeping and saying everybody who knows me to be crying.
Do you understand? Yes. So I understand where it's coming from. It's very easy for him to behave like this. And I cannot deceive you. Maybe I can attain that. Of course, I should in Christ. I should attain that level. But for me, I will still have to fast and pray when I need to and believe God for. Do you understand? Yes. But
so when you say you understand where it's coming from, what do you mean? Do you understand why Jesus say that? Like, what confidence is making him to say that?
Okay, in my best opinion, I believe he's not allowed to vilify people's reputation. I believe he's a man that has gone through due process, and he knows what it takes to build a ministry and to be called of God. So his mandate or his assignment is not to pull down what God has built through the hands of his servants, but to correct in love, so that we all can do what God has called us to do, and not deviate, and not digress, and not do other things that do not glorify God. I think this is.
But the question they ask you is that why is it that Pastor Sunday is not afraid?
Yes.
Of course, maybe you should ask Pastor Sunday because he's right here with me now. I might
Jesus
not be able to answer that because I'm trying to find out. I really want to know why. I've asked him to because I was opportune to go out with him last week, and I was asking him in the car that, Pastor Sunday, have you been able to overcome all fears? Because when you talk about death, I mean, it doesn't even think about it. So I don't understand many things yet about him. I'm just trying to find out myself because he has a superior knowledge. And I'm not saying that to glorify him. And that is not unto his self-aggrandizement. This is my perspective. He knows something that maybe some of us are yet to know. Do you understand? Because it is what you know that can make you live in a way DSA is living right now. Do you understand? Yeah. I think.
Let me say this. I told you DSA the last time that the people that will relate more to your message are the atheists. Is because of this very example you just spoke about now. Because no atheist today, you can never threaten an atheist with spiritual causes and they will believe you. First of all, they are not superstitious. They don't believe in the power of juju. Nothing at all. I went through that stage, so I know what I'm talking about. Like, they don't believe in spirituality. So in order for Christians to be able to follow Jesus' message, one recommendation I can recommend to people that are listening.
Are you still an atheist?
I consider myself as a free thinker today as I'm talking to you.
No, you can't come this far with Pastor Sunday and still remain like this. What are you waiting for, man of God?
You need to understand.
What are you waiting for? With the number of books behind you here, you still don't know God?
I do not disagree with the existence of God.
No, you can't find God in books.
Yes, I evolved. My belief actually evolved. My state of mind, that actually started 5 years ago. When I started dropping my faith, I abandoned my faith, I was very arrogant in the past. I do not believe that God exists entirely. But through learning and humility, I embrace certain aspect of spirituality, but there's stuff I still don't believe today. For instance, like what we were just talking about now, this man I just called, is something I don't dream anymore. I used to have terrible nightmares when I was a believer, when I was into religious stuff. Terrible nightmares. And that dream doesn't come one time, but it repeats itself. 2 dreams. I'll dream, see myself killing snake, big snake, and I always wake up with one body. That was when I was a believer, And I used to believe that my stepmom would harm me with some kind of juju power. But since I lost my faith as an atheist, I no longer, say, all this juju. I embrace, Western life. I started marrying Europeans. I went to in short, one of the first work I did in Europe was to work in a graveyard, in mortuary. I was cleaning job. And because I lost my faith that I was able to walk there. So I saw a woman came in to drop a flower. They usually come to drop flower in the grave. So I was like, wow. I don't know much, but just there. Some people will come with their bags, some people come and sit down there. So if this is Nigeria, they'll be afraid that there will be some ghosts walking around there. So I started asking myself a question, how are they so free in the graveyard? How could they do that, I realized that they don't even have fear. They are not afraid of the spirits. So I started to compare their mentality with ours. In short, I can't even stay in a big house like this when it's dark alone in the past. But I lost that fear. That's why I feel so comfortable today, that I have lost that fear totally. You cannot threaten me.
Talking about mortuary, you remember the man who called today said some of these people that I'm dealing with, they are what they do, the bathing,
blood bathing.
That they use the
blood of people,
dead people
to bake,
people,
something like that. Yes.
That they are so diabolical.
He spoke Conk Yoruba, so it was a little bit tough to.
This thing makes me to doubt DSA sometimes. When DSA speak like this, it makes me think like, really, what gives me that confidence? That somebody even told me that DSA just pretended that DSA is actually an atheist, because it's practically impossible for somebody who believes to think the way he thinks.
Okay, sorry to cut in now. So what's the greatest question you have about God? What question are you waiting to get answers to before you believe in God, in the God that we serve?
Well, I do not believe personally that I can come to believe in God, to believe in the Christian God through philosophy and questioning. I've tried it didn't work. I've been discussing with DSA for a very long time. He gave me certain prescription and asked me to go on to meditate. I do often. And I believe the only thing that can be able to convince me probably is some kind of spiritual experience, because I've gone deep into philosophy. I've studied Christianity. I have personal grudges against Christianity. Personal grudges because of the Old Testament, because of the black race, because of my mind is programmed in a certain way that I find it very hard to go back. But I do believe that God exists. The concept of God, the Christian concept of God, is a very big challenge for me. It's something I'm struggling to adapt. I'm not quite sure if I will understand it through philosophy, because I've tried every possible one. I've read possibly some of the theological books, the theological arguments. I've listened, in short, from Islam to Christianity. In short, I have rabbis that I'm following their teachings about God. Every single day I spend time on YouTube, I spend time reading books, a lot of things, so that I can be able to understand it. But the deeper I go studying, in short, the more fault I find. I find some of these things. I've read the Bible from A to Z, because I was very curious about it. I wanted to start performing miracles to heal people like all these big pastors. In short, that was my ambition. I became so, deep into it. I was praying and doing all sorts of stuff. The more I study, the difficult it becomes for me. So DSA knows some of the books, he knows some of the authors I've studied. So he understands what I'm saying. Particularly he knows about Dr. John Henry Clark. So that's one of the first influence that took me out of religion in the first place. And most of the things I've seen around me is very difficult to go back. So I cannot attain God through philosophy, probably through spiritual experience where it comes from. So I pray daily. And when I sit down to pray, I find it difficult to even mention the name of Jesus. I just sit down and meditate. I say, God, guide me, lead me, let me understand this life. So it helps me to. Sometimes I just say my mother is my God. Sometimes I say nature is the God. I just say some kind of energy. I have difficulties. I think I am confused. I just find it hard to believe any concept of God at all as it is. So I try to compare Christianity with Judaism, with Islam. I try to see the differences and their weaknesses. I told him the last debate we had that God, the Christian God, the one that I saw in the Bible, I like DSA, the version of Christianity is presenting. And also that I see the enthusiasm, the energy in him. I think we're going far. DSA. If all Nigerian Christians would think like him, you see, I'm ready to give my life for DSA's struggle, for the movement he started. I'm ready to put all my energy to work to make sure that these things come, because it's going to liberate people's mind. I don't like anything that will put fear in people's mind to enslave people. In short, I find it hard to accept anything at all. Even my name like this, I don't believe in my name sometimes. I think I don't know where that thing is coming from. I don't know why my mind functions in such a manner. So right from childhood, I suffer from that. So I'm reading something today, and I keep having doubts in my mind. So if I'm in the position of DSA, like this man that just called now, I won't even believe what the man said. That is what I found myself into. Struggling every day. My teacher is teaching me in the class. I'm already having questions at the back of my mind about what the teacher is saying. I go to church, they are preaching, I'm trouble, anything at all. I'm reading books, I'm even arguing with myself with the book. Like I'm trying to criticize the theory that I'm reading. The reason why I was able to abandon atheism quickly was because of the way my mind functioned. I'm reading books about atheism, I'm seeing loopholes in some of the theories they are presenting. The man is writing about God, but instead he's criticizing religion. I said, no, he's not even saying anything about God. It's just religion. It's just the bad stuff that religious people are doing that is criticizing. I took different books studying. I took Dr. Generic Black book. I saw that his argument is not even holding water. Different books. So I just read them and I keep arguing and debating with myself alone in the room. At the end of the thing, I'll find myself, instead of believing the book, I'll push it and go to the next theory. You know, at some point, I was into Islam. You know, so I was like, wow, this man is so charismatic. I want him to be my teacher. DSA knows him, the man is from South Africa. They call him Ezekiel. A very good charismatic Islamic sheikh. I was just following his teaching every day and I believe everything he was saying. And then at some point I said, okay. I came back and said, okay, well, Christianity was born out of Judaism and now Islam was born out of Christianity. So where am I standing? In short, these three religions have betrayed black race. Why am I still holding on to it? In fact, when you go back to the Old Testament, you see a lot of loopholes. And this is what we're still talking. The reason why I initiated this debate actually is not for my sake, but because of the people that have a lot of questions and they are not asking. They want to know. There are a lot of people like me. That's what I discovered. A lot of people that are confused, they don't understand. They want to understand what is going on about life. So I think this year, thank God he opened the platform and accepted it. And I've seen, you see messages that I receive a lot every day from people. The first time we started, some people, they were, wow, that was the same question I had in my mind. Some of these questions are powerful, they're wonderful. I keep debating it every day, but I don't know why I keep doubting. I think it's a torture for me, personally, in my mind. I can't handle it. I get so many into trouble. But probably one day I'll just wake up, maybe spiritually, God will just come in. You know, I told yesterday, the last time I said, probably I expect him not to come with a white face, with a white man's face, because it will be something difficult for me. It's something I've been suffering from, like, with God is coming to present himself to me. Probably he should come in. I don't know, any face, he should adopt any form, but he shouldn't come in white man's face because I have a problem with that theory, with that aspect of believing stuff. So to me, there's that problem of image of God in my head that I have a problem with it. I don't know if it's a he or a she. And I don't know if he's black or white or Indian or Chinese. I don't know. I have that image problem of God. It's a very big thing for me, and I'm struggling to resolve that. So that has been the point of the debate. So philosophy to me, I don't think it will work. Keep debating about it every day, you know, but I'm not sure I will ever get to that point. We had a counter argument with DSA, which is the first question, one of the first questions I was about to go into with him. So he told me that if I have any part, any role in determining the country I was born into, you know, I was unable to answer. So right now I say, well, let me give you the question today, and he's going to answer it.
But you know that I understand how you said, and I'm not going to go into philosophy or anything, but I'm just going to say a simple prayer. I'm just going to ask you to ask God to reveal himself to you. You simply just pray to God and ask that the heights of your understanding be enlightened. I mean, God is not so difficult that he will hide himself away from you. God wants to reveal himself to you every moment. As I'm talking to you now, he's ready to show up. He's ready to say to you, my son, I am here for you. You know, it's that easy, you know. Probably it's not so easy based on based on the knowledge you have. You know, but God is not that complex, I believe. And I just want you to relax and forget about many things that you've imbibed already, that you've taken in, you know, and just release yourself in the simplicity of your sincerity, of the sincerity of your heart. Just ask him in love to reveal himself to you. it will draw you unto himself, and you will know him. I'm not a preacher. That's pastor's job, really. But
Let me ask you the question I asked DSA before now. Why do you think there is still a debate about the existence of God?
well, there are questions about many things in life.
Mm-hmm.
What you don't understand, you always question. So it's because people don't understand many things.
Mm.
There will continue to be questions about many things because people don't understand. But when knowledge comes, then things will get better. So I think people don't know. And that's because they are finding God in the wrong places. Do you understand? There is a how to everything. Is that correct? There is a proper way. There is an approach. Do you understand? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So I believe that if we get it right, we'll always be okay.
Okay.
I believe that you will still do great things for God.
Okay.
Yes. And
I've been hearing that from different men of God.
And I said I believe you still do great things for God.
Okay.
Yes.
I still have been hearing that from different men of God.
Oh, okay.
One of the big people in Christ Embassy, one man, he's leading the church in Europe. I don't know how many countries in Europe for Christ Embassy. I came to the church, he was telling me, innocent. He just picked me up. I think you understand. And he was giving prophecy, but we ended up having a very hard debate with the man. So, okay, let me not disagree with you. I hope so. I'll see where the future leads us.
Because I believe from the conversation we've had that you are sincere in your heart. You really want to know God. And that you thirst for him. You want him. And he's a God that is ready to come to you. So it's just like you want someone that wants you already. So he's coming for you right now. It won't be long.
Okay.
Not to take you home, but to make you know him so that you can do your best for him while you're still alive.
Do you think it's a coincidence that we started talking about the call you received with DSA today?
Well, I believe God is a knowing God, and nothing is a shock to him. He made us. So what you made cannot supersede you in any sense. So he must have had a foreknowledge of what is happening right now. Don't you think so?
Because I was telling DSA that I'm worried about what they are planning. That is when he started telling me that actually they received a call today. They will receive a call today. So I don't know where was that coming from, because I was sitting today in my house and I was thinking, I was working, I was like, hey, DSA is starting these people. They will start, cooking up stuff to do to him. They will not allow him to go. I told him last week that if he were to be in the middle age, they will just hang his head on a pile and just burn him on a stick and warn other people not to do it again. Martin Luther has to be running and hiding because the church be after him. He's trying to destroy their reputation. They follow him. When they saw that the fire went on him also. But this day, they cannot do that to DSA. So they have to devise means on how to do. So I was thinking about it, and I said, DSA will get itself to.
And if there's anything I understand about DSA, I think he's not someone that will give up. I think his mind is made up. He will continue to do what God will have him do. No matter the threat, no matter the lies, the super stories that are really not true, that they are being concocted and all, he will continue to do. The only thing he wants to know is this in God's interest? Is this for the advancement of the kingdom? Is this to the glory of God? Is this for the betterment of God's people and their life, so that they can be empowered to do God's will? If these questions are true, if these things are true, then it will be ready to do anything for God. So nothing is going to stop him, not the threat, not the harassment, not the defamation of character. He's not going to stop at anything. Because if it is God's mandate, it will do it. It will just do it. So I see a man that is resolute. I see a man that is determined to do what God will have him do. And that is that is the height of faith in the supreme God that is in charge of everything.
And why were you concerned that I didn't decide to pray about it? I didn't even pray about the thing, talk less of fasting.
No,
I didn't even invite anybody to pray.
Because you just turned 50, you'll be 51 this year. And I think anybody that is about your age will pray to live so long. Like, if you hear that kind of news, you want to pray that God, I want to live long. With long life, you shall satisfy me. You begin to profess and confess the scriptures and, and go into serious prayers. But, you were very chirpy. Nothing changed. You just, not like you received the message with contempt, not like you despised it outrightly. Do you understand? Because he honors God's word. If you are coming in the name of the Lord, at least you'll be received. You'll be received. Even though the Spirit of God will bear witness with him, with the message you are bringing. But it will not belittle you or shun you or shut you out. You'll be received. Do you understand? But he knows something, like I said earlier, that is giving him this confidence. And I
would like to understand why DSA is not panicking, nervous. DSA can answer this because I know many people that are listening right now, they'll be wondering why they will encourage you to go and pray, to organize prayer warriors to pray. So why didn't you follow the instructions?
I will even say that people should pray. He's not asking people to pray, but I feel what he's doing is a lot. And you can't take out the role of prayer in everything. It's good to pray. The effectual fervent prayer of the righteous availeth much. So he might not ask for prayers, but I think he's just good with prayer. Because he's an iconoclast. He's coming against the fundamental beliefs of the people. Do you understand? Some things that have been entrenched in the subconscious of the people is coming to extirpate completely, and it's not going to be done overnight. So this is it looks so unusual. This thing he's trying to do has not been done before. So even though it is right, or it could be right, of course it's right, but it could be misconstrued in the sense that people have not seen it this way before. So before they get the picture, it could take time. And I pray it doesn't get too late. Do you understand? Because they will eventually get it. But I don't know when. Do you understand? So it's good we pray that God will preserve him and keep him and empower him and continue to grant him boldness, and that audacity is always hard, and that he has to continue to say what God will have him say.
Do you have any record? Do you have any series about prayer? The function of prayer. Is there any recorded series about that?
Yes.
Yes. There's a series about that?
Yes.
Okay, I would like to check out after this message, because I have a different picture about prayer. That's a problem about the Bible, the presentation, because I was telling my friend recently, because I wanted, this thing of knowledge is very dangerous. So I was listening to a rabbi who was trying to explain what prayer actually means, the Hebrew meaning of the word prayer, and how Christians misconstrue, how they just use it in a very inappropriate manner. Because he called prayer lehit palel. That is in the Hebrew word for prayer. So he thinks that prayer is not an act of modifying something. He said it's a self-reflection of yourself. So if Jesus is encouraged to pray, he's not actually praying to change what those people are going to plan, but he's praying to lift his hope. So he's praying to give him courage, to lift fear out of his mind. So that he said I think it's an intransitive verb or something he called it prayer in Hebrew word. So that the man said that the Hebrew word was mistranslated into English. He said that if you check the original Bible of Hebrew word for prayer, the real meaning of that word is self-reflection. So you lift your spirit, you speak hope to your heart, you speak strength to your heart. that nothing actually changes in the spiritual realm, but that you speak to yourself. So I was asking myself, okay, what is it? What is it? Is this are the Jews right about this, or are the Christians wrong about it? Or who is right, who is wrong? Because the Christian version of prayer is that you pray to change things in the spiritual realm. But the Jew sees this differently. And the funny thing about these Jews is that they founded this religion. And the funny thing is that they opened a huge platform for debate. The Jews that are very spiritual, they speak as if they are atheists. If you see a Jewish congregation that they're having a huge debate, hey, you will run because they open a very big platform for conversation. Okay, what's the next plan?
No, I'm listening. We're listening.
Okay. I see you're trying to stand up.
Oh yeah, I wanted him to sit. Like he should take the seats.
What did he say?
Yeah, he said I should remain seated.
Okay, I think people should check out the prayer series. I'm interested to see what this is.
Yeah, there.
Yeah, because it's very important. So as I'm telling you, what the Jews think differently about prayer. Some of the Jews, though, not some. I don't know what the rest think, because I watched a debate where they were discussing the topic of prayer. They were discussing prayer as a self-reflection, not as something that can change God's plan. That prayer doesn't change God's mind. It doesn't change His decision. It's just a self-reflection. When you pray, you reflect. It's like a meditation. It's like you're speaking to yourself. For instance, if somebody is sick right now, in the sick bed in the hospital, we come to pray to the person. It's something that, I don't know, science call it placebo effect. It's not necessarily that the prayer went into the spiritual realm to change something in the spirit, but that when you're doing the act of pronouncement actually put hope in that person's heart. It puts strength in that person's heart. And because the mind now becomes positive, then the body reacts to it. For instance, the reason why people die of hypertension is because of the thoughts they conceive in their mind. So they can be able to take those evil thoughts out of their mind and replace it with good thoughts. You see their body now change. If you tell somebody bad stuff, if you insult somebody with your words have effect on those people. The things you say to them, bad things. If you tell a lady that is so crazy about you today that you don't love her anymore, her heart will break. And that heartbreak that she has can affect her body system, which will cause blood failure, because heart failure. Her body system will start breaking down. Some people go to the extent of depression and they die even. So the word has effect on humans. So whether both negative or positive word. So when you pronounce negative word, it affects the human system biologically. So it can cause your body system to break down. When you pronounce positive word, which is prayer to somebody who is sick, you come to the prayer bed, you tell him, look, human, you're sick, I pronounce healing on you. And the person is listening to you. Through listening, you're putting a positive energy into that person. So the heart now take those words you say, and the body start working on it. Before you notice, the immune system will automatically recharge and start fighting, because there is hope now in the person's heart. So that is according to the Jews' version of what prayer actually means. Self-reflection. Prayer, the synonym of prayer is actually hope. It means optimism. It actually means, something positive. It doesn't necessarily mean there's some kind of spiritual realm that is happening. So when you're talking about prayer, that Jesus should pray, that people should pray all over the world. If he doesn't know that they are praying, I don't know how he will feel it or what effect it will have. What do you think about that?
Actually, in the Christian faith, prayer starts with God.
Okay.
Do you understand? You can't say you are praying if the subject of your prayer is not God. So it all starts with God, recognizing God as the Father and you as his own, coming in union, referencing God as the supreme being. That's how you start prayers. That's how you start out praying. So you don't just come to God to purify your heart, to inspire yourself, and to make things happen for you. Of course, you could do that in prayer. But the first thing you have to do in the place of prayer is to connect with God and recognize the authority and the person of God in the Christian faith. So it might be a little bit tough for you to understand this, since you probably have not come to the knowledge of God the way the Christians have, in the sense of seeing him as the absolute Father of all, as the absolute being. Do you understand? So in the Christian faith, we see God as the Father. And we say, Abba, Father. We come to him. We love him. We adore him. We become intimate in the place of prayer. Do you understand? You probably have a dad. You have a father, right? Okay. You see, for a child who has a father, is able to go to his father. Do you understand? Many times it comes making a request, trying to get something from the father. But at other times, it's just about fellowship. He wants to hug his dad. He wants to talk to his dad. He wants to be with his dad. And that's the the point of call in the Christian faith. You come to God because you love him, because you know him, and because he's everything to you. Are you with me, sir?
Yes, I'm with you.
Okay. That's I'm not pastor. Let pastor come and take your seat. Because really, yeah,
I totally understand you.
Okay, then after you've done that, it will be easy because your relationship with God is already good. So it's easy for you to now ask God for anything. You can now present your case before God. You can now present other people before God. You can now hear God for yourself. Do you understand? You can now take instructions in the place of prayer and begin to extend the frontiers of the kingdom. Because you've stayed with God in fellowship. You've understood him. You've taken notes from him. You've been in his presence. You've seen his face. His glory has been impacted upon you. Do you understand? As beholding him like in a mirror, you are transformed from glory to glory. So his glory has rubbed off on you. So from that, you are able to do a lot more. So it starts with God. That's why, bro, you should really know this God. So that you can understand prayer and you can really love God and explore a lot more. Explore. There is a depth in God that I really long to reach. There is a depth in God that Christians should really long to reach. And that is my cry for you and every atheist out there, that they will come to know the living God that we serve.
The point I'm making is this. The first language that the Bible was written was in Hebrew language.
Okay.
So somebody who happened to be a Jew, he speaks Hebrew, is now telling Christians that the word prayer in English is wrongly translated.
Okay.
That they translated this prayer and they adopted the Latin word or the Greek word that gave a different meaning to prayer, which means to the people that to English that the word was wrongly translated. So now Christians, they have to answer it, they have to see, they accept that the word was wrongly translated and it was wrongly being, people have to accept either the original meaning of what it means, or they have to tell you, like I said the word now, you can go ahead and search for it. It's called the Hebrew word. That is the original word.
It's called what?
It's called the Hebrew. I can send you videos that spoke about prayer in Hebrew, the etymology of some of those words, the conjugation of some of those words, what it actually means in Hebrew before it was translated. There are so many words that are misquoted, mistranslated into English today. For instance, like the word Jesus never existed until 500 years ago. The word Jesus, when I say the word Jesus, when the Bible was translated into English, that was when they did what is known as transliteration. They had to invent the word Jesus, but the initial word, the original word was Yahweh, Yeshua, what do they call it? So there was never any word like that until recently, that when Bible was translated into English, they have to invent certain words, they have to change them, they have to make sure that those words adopt into the English language. So the Hebrew people are saying that some of the words were mistranslated. In fact, this is the original meaning of what this word means. So are the Christians, are they going to see the word, are they going to take it that way? Or will they continue with the mistranslation, with the Greek word, like the Latin word now that says that prayer is directed to God, or that the Hebrew word that says prayer is actually self-reflection.
Yeah, I got your question. So I'll leave the seat. No, but really, there's a scripture that says, "Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God." The whole goal is still God. Even if you are coming to inspire your soul, to empower yourself, I mean, the subject has to be God. It doesn't now matter what use you want to put this fellowship with God, but the object of your prayer has to be God. So, what inspiration are you getting without the person of God? What motivation are you getting without the person of God? So, the subject of prayer is God. Are you with me?
Do you pray when you want to cook? When you want to cook your food?
Do I pray if I want to cook?
Yes. When you want to start cooking your food in your stove, do you pray before doing that?
Well, you have to pray without ceasing. Yeah, you don't necessarily have to say you are saying your prayers, but it depends on what you define prayer to be.
Okay. Depends
So
on what
it
you
is your
define prayer to
concept
be.
of prayer that will determine if you are praying while cooking or not.
Okay. The point I'm making, the point is very simple.
Because if you are in constant fellowship with God, even while cooking, you are praying. If you do not detach from God, if you do not sever that relationship, if the subject of your prayer is God, then even while you're cooking, you probably should say you're praying. This is my
The
perspective.
point is very simple.
Yeah.
It's as simple as this. Let's assume God has already endowed man with all the knowledge that man needs. Every knowledge. Both the knowledge of discovering electricity, this Skype we're using to talk today, the knowledge to send rockets to the space, he has already given man. So now man has decided to abandon, instead of the pursuit of that knowledge to get this thing, he decided to abandon to do something differently. He keep asking God. God say, okay, to cook your soup is very simple. Vegetable soup, let's say, for example, you need okra of fish. And then you need water a certain quantity. You need Magaji. You need to cook it within 30 minutes and wait when it's done to eat. But now you decide to abandon that soup, and then you're now saying, God, please, God, how can I cook this soup? How can I cook this soup? How can I cook this soup? That is prayer. That's how some people pray. How can I cook this soup? That's how they pray, honestly. How can I cook it? But God has already endowed you with the knowledge already. He has already given you the technical know-how to put these apparatus in places and make them function. For instance, I told a friend, I said, NASA doesn't send rockets to the space through prayer. They never do that. What they need to do, find some fusion. There's the DSA mentorship program. There's a theory, there's a way he programmed it. It's very interesting. There are 4 words, I think 3 what he said. He started from, I think, there are scientific words we employ DSA for the mentorship program. You talk about ignite, and you talk about kickstart or kick off or something like that.
Yes. So
when I saw those 3 steps,
yes,
I just smiled. I said, this is a very interesting chart of the mentorship program. So when I saw it, so that's how most Christians pray today. They pray for knowledge that God has already given it to them already. You want to pass your exam, it's very simple. You study. So you are saying we should put God in the center of everything, but God is saying, I've already given you the knowledge. Just use it. Use it. So now when you need prayer, the Jews are saying that all you need to do is to reconnect that energy, is to strengthen your spirit. What they're saying. They're saying that everything is available already. So all you need to do when you're praying is to reconnect that energy. For instance, when you said to God, say, thy kingdom come, say, thy will be done on earth. What is thy will? Thy will is the program is already set for man, already in place. So what are you trying to do? You discover this will already. You strengthen your spirit to carry on with it. So I don't know if that tallies with Jesus' concept of prayer, but it's something I'm interested to see. And I think most Christians are praying in a very wrong manner today. Very, very wrong manner. Do you think people pray to discover electricity? Or even Skype the reason to talk? Was it prayer that discovered it? It wasn't prayer. So mighty things, great things can be done for humans without prayer. It's very simple. Very simple.
As much as prayers won't make you invent all of these technologies you've talked about, you can have that knowledge, of course, but prayer can give you wisdom. You know, knowledge too, when misappropriated, can destroy. So I think there's still a place for prayer, because prayer can give you wisdom in the application of your knowledge for a common good.
Okay, tell me, how is prayer important for somebody who wants to make vegetable soup? We have knowledge now. The knowledge is there. It's very simple. The knowledge is there. And you apply it, it works. No need for any prayer. The knowledge to send a rocket to the space is simple. People do it without prayer. And they're telling you that you can do it without prayer. So I'm not saying that prayer is useless. What I'm saying is that people pray wrongly. When you want to pray, you pray to lift your spirit. But if you're praying for anything at all that you have the ability to do it, it's a very wrong concept of prayer. That is my simple opinion about it. So if you ask people to gather to pray for DSA to do it, that the GOs will not attack him or something, I don't know if that is the right concept. I'm not sure that is it. All you need to do is follow the principles that are in place. First of all, if you don't believe that they can harm you spiritually, it will never happen. I used to dream horrible dreams and I used to pray. But the very day I lost my faith, fear went out of my heart, my mind. I no longer dream again. Fear disappeared. Strange numbers will be calling me from Nigeria with threats of spirituality. I don't even fear. Hello, the person will not talk. My mother told me that if the person call you, they will hide their numbers, don't pick that they're trying to take your picture to do some kind of juju about it. The person called, I picked, I said, yes, hello, how can I help you? The person didn't talk, but keep making funny sounds. Funny sounds, you know. At the end of the day, I just dropped the call. No fear. I don't even have to pray. So I just follow my life as it is. And it makes it very simple. So in one of the mentorship program at DSA, the first aspect was about principles of life. That life has certain principles that you follow. When you follow those principles, when you understand those principles about life and you apply them, you won't struggle. So I thought I knew it all until I started this mentorship program, until I discovered that yes, there are principles that when you apply them in life, it functions. No stress at all. So what I'm proposing to people today is to discover some of those principles. The principle to succeed, like a sister that used to come to the church and give prayer points. I used to be a member of the people that were praying for her to find husband. She was getting to test something. She would pray all the time. I'm only single. I need God to provide me a husband. I'm waiting on the Lord to provide me a husband. So I told this sister one day that, look, you might pray till thy kingdom come, but there are principles you need to follow. Probably you need to rectify your attitude towards men. When a man approaches you, there is a way you need to respond. If you keep praying and those attitudes are not good, nothing will happen. The man will come, he will see, he will go his way. So if you follow certain principles, even that prayer, life can function smoothly. If God gave us those principles. So he said, take these principles and follow them. If you follow that principle, you're still obeying God. Even if you don't pray, you're still obeying God. So this lady will come in again, or somebody will come in the church and just say, I'm a student, I need a job. I want to be able to work somewhere. I've been going for interview, they are receiving, I think they are racist. They don't like black people. I said, hey, gentlemen, come in. Let's check if your CV is properly written. Or how do you present yourself during the interview when they call you? Do you speak straightforward? Are you honest? Are you direct? Were you punctual when they say come around 9? Did you come right on time? So those are the little principles you follow. You're punctual. You see this well written. If you have those criteria, if you follow those simple principles, prayer, there won't be any need for any prayer. And you see that if you pray and you don't follow those principles, life will be a total misery for you. So now, what do we place prayer? What question do we ask ourselves as Christians? Where do you place prayer? What's the place of prayer? Is it a self-reflection, or are you praying to modify some kind of spiritual something spiritual? What do you do about it? Which will you choose? Follow the principles or pray? Or are you trying to suggest that prayer helps us to discover some of those principles? Is a question. So principles, prayer, principles and prayer. I'm for the principle. Family, any human, all Christians, follow the principles. They are not my principle, they are God's principle. We set them for our life, we follow them, we achieve life. So if you leave those principles and you go for prayer instead, okay, let's for instance, one of the principles God gave for people that are
Hello? Okay, I think we're having a problem.
Okay. I was going to ask him that. Can principles weigh spiritual warfare?
I think we have a problem with the connection.
This guy is cerebral. Just
Well, hello everybody. We're going to try and reconnect. We are going to try to reconnect with Innocent. But he had asked me a question that I don't know if I will have time to answer. And the question is that why am I so relaxed despite the thing that is happening, or the message that, Tokwe spoke about that I got today. He said he's relaxed. He won't worry about it because he's an atheist, so he doesn't believe in all the spiritual stuff. And he doesn't believe in spirituality and all that. So he wants to know if I will, what makes me to be so relaxed. Okay. Anyway, while he's gone, while we are trying to get him, let me talk about the new books that just came out. And I want to congratulate all of you. I don't know if it's showing normally or it's not showing normally. But this, okay, he's there now, right? Okay, we got him already. Okay. Okay. Hello? Are you there, Innocent?
yes, and also still back.
I was just about to begin to talk about the new books I just got ready today. So this book is called Your Tomorrow Depends on the Actions You Take Today. So that's in line with the thing you are trying to teach, Tokwe. Your tomorrow it depends on the actions you take today. So life is predictable. So don't complain. What this book is basically teaching people is that only you can control your future. So this is one of the new books. I want to congratulate everybody. It's on Amazon and it's in my office, so you could get it. The next book is called Discipline: The Power and Force of Discipline for Transforming Lives and Nations. The Power and Force of Discipline for Transforming Lives and Nations as well. So discipline to transform nations and lives. Then the next one is called Stop Blaming What You Lack. Stop blaming what you lack. Everybody lacks something, so stop blaming what you lack. And you already have all you need to be successful. So stop blaming what you lack. All right, that's the next one. Then the final one I have, which I'm very glad about, this particular one, it's called Team Building Skills of Jesus.
Oh.
Team Building Skills of Jesus. So all these books are on Amazon and on Kindle Unlimited for free, but they are also on Amazon for sale. And for anybody who wants to get them cheaper, it's cheapest if you write to my office. If you write to my office, which is dssbooks@gmail.com. dssbooks@gmail.com. Well, you asked me a question that I never got the opportunity to answer, and your question was that why am I so relaxed? You said you are not bothered about those spiritual experiences because you are an atheist, and you are asking me why am I so relaxed and why am I not bothered when he was so panicky and the man, all of them were crying about me and about all these things that the people are doing against me, and the vision and the revelation they saw. And I said, well, it's time for me to go eat. I need to go for lunch. I went for lunch and I ate very well. And I came back and I went for another engagement, a birthday in my house here. So I ate more cake even there. And then, and I sent him to go eat also, because he said, no, we shouldn't eat, we should be praying and fasting. And he said we should call the members of the church and the leaders to begin to pray for me so that nothing will happen. That this is serious, this is so serious. That I should be praying that all these things, because some of these people who are against me, they are bathing the human blood, and they are using the dead bodies of them, all kind of something to sham me or to harm me. But I just take it easy, because I've done a series already on spiritual warfare, how to I think how to overcome satanic attacks, and how to overcome spiritual attacks. So I think there is a series there on my YouTube on that basis. And that is what explains my reason, or the reason for my relaxation and my comfort. Why am I not worried? Why am I so confident? Well, it's because of what I know. It's because of what I know. And what will I say? I will just say, we'll be able to discuss this further maybe next time if you want. Because our time now is already 30 minutes before the next program. I'm starting a new series today. Sorry?
I saw the topic.
Yeah. So I actually know that a lot of people might have questions about today's particular discussion we're having with you, especially the Christians, the spiritual people. They normally have questions in those cases. But maybe you will be able to gather the questions, and if they have them, we'll be able to answer them next time.
I'll go through the comments. So you people drop the questions that you want to ask. Prayer is very important. I know it's a very sensitive topic for Christians. So I'll go on and search for the series that you talked about. And you can search for the series too and see what he says about prayer. It's very important. I wanted to understand that, honestly.
Yes, I have a series on prayers. It's called Prayer Series. It's one of the series on the YouTube. And my YouTube, of course, for people who don't know, is Sunday Adelaja Official. Sunday Adelaja Official. By the way, all these books you also get on my blog. And my blog is sundayadelajablog.com/books if you want to buy books. So that is Sunday Adelaja blog. For those people who want to, I started a mentorship program which you have spoken about. So the mentorship program, some people who are here might not have joined. If you have not joined the mentorship program, it's a free program that I started to help people understand life and understand God and understand themselves. So this mentorship program will help you to understand God, understand yourself, and understand the world, how the world is supposed to function. And it's supposed to be costing $3,000 per person, but it's going to be for free for you if you go and register. So go to sundayadelajablog.com/mentorship. sundayadelajablog.com/mentorship. The same sundayadelajablog.com/books, you will get books. The same sundayadelajablog.com/mentorship, you will get. People who wish to come to Ukraine, go to sundayadelajablog.com/visit. That is if you want to attend one of our trainings, one of the HMTs that we have. The trainings is sundayadelajablog.com/HMT. And for those people who have children, teenagers, and you want your teenage child to attend HMT, History Makers Training in August, it's the same thing. Go to sundayadelajablog.com/visit and you can register for that. But our time is over for today. We will need to go and get ready for the new series. And the new series I'm starting today is called Healing and Healing and Recovery. Healing and recovery from spiritual and religious attacks. Healing and recovery from spiritual and religious Abuse, not attack, abuse.
Abuse. Interesting.
Because I've been talking about all the abuses that are taking place in the African churches. Now it's time to bring healing and recovery to people who have been abused one way or the other by the churches, by their, by their spiritual and religious experiences.
That boy, the 25 years old guy from Holland, I think, or Holland.
Yes.
He has a very interesting testimony about that.
Right.
And for the children that are coming for the HNT, I don't know, that boy, Jerome, the program is leading the people.
It will be so good.
That boy.
He has a great future.
When he was talking about this football stuff, I noticed that you were trying to make him to think bigger than that. So I was just saying in my mouth, allow him, let him go and learn. Because I was developing a project about Nigerian football system, a huge football system where we can have a huge academy like Arsenal or Manchester stuff, and from the Chinese system that they are using currently. So I was like, he might be an asset to be used.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Innocent. We'll see you in the next 30 minutes if you have time.
Thank you. Of course I'll be here. I won't miss that meeting.
Okay, thank you. Peace.